Hey, how's everybody doing? So I ran a couple miles today. I had a long day. I had work in the morning, and then I got home, went out for a couple miles, and feeling pretty good. And I was thinking a lot about these past few days, right? Like before in my previous video, which I'll put under the description below. I'll put a link there. Some people, how before you judge other people, judge yourself first, right? And then go out and talk your ish about whatever who you are, whoever you want, right? You're more than welcome to. You're free to do that. But it's always, I don't know, maybe in my humble opinion, because I talk ish about other people too. But I always, before I do that, I kind of like do that about me, myself first. Okay. So I kind of like examine what's wrong with me. Is there something I can make better, right? Is there something that I can improve? Is there something that I can eliminate to make my life easier, better, enjoyable, right? Productive, right? So, with that being said, right, this video obviously is about people who are too comfortable in their own suffering. So, just hear me out. I forgot if you can look this up. I forgot there was this girl. I think she was raised by her parents. It was all over the news like maybe like a decade ago. But she was tortured by her parents her entire life. I think in her mid 20s that somehow she ended up in a better place. And I guess other family members and doctors were trying to assimilate her to a better life. You're not with the people who are torturing you anymore. You don't live with the people who are making you live in a hell every day. You know what I'm saying? And somehow this girl was just so conditioned and so indoctrinated to suffering every day that the thought of living a better life or becoming free from that torture, becoming free, becoming, just yourself, you're now free, you can do whatever you want, scared her. And I think she wanted to go back to that lifestyle of being tortured by her parents. I forgot the case, but there is a case like that. And that, with that being mentioned, you can also kind of like compare that to, for example, in my personal experience, when I came to Texas from New York, right? First, obviously, I was incredibly scared, okay? Because I didn't know anybody and I didn't know how, I looked at my paycheck and I saw the significant amount of extra money that I have left, because in New York City, right? Everybody thinks that like, oh, look, I'm making 70K, I'm making 50K, I'm making 60K, and that's what they base their lives around. And besides even that, if they're making 70K or 60K, they're living like a $90,000 lifestyle. They go on credit, they buy cars they shouldn't have to, they pay rent they shouldn't even be living in apartments that they can't afford, but they do it anyways. And then at the end of the year, they stay with cables and bits. So just and for example, if you're making $22 in New York City, you would probably be paying at least 31%. So that's 31% of every $22 an hour. Okay. If you're making $25, $27, you might seem like, wow, that's pretty cool, great. But if you're living in New York City, you're probably going to be paying, if you're making $27.50, you're probably going to be paying at least 34 to between 31 point something and 34% per $27.50. Now, if you're okay with that, you are more than welcome to be okay with that. Okay, fine, great, right? There are people like me that are not okay with that. So when I came to Texas, obviously I took a pay cut. However, I ended up having extra money. So it's like in New York City, you get paid more, but you keep less. In Texas, you get paid less, but you get to keep more. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let that sink in a little bit. Okay. So with that being said, I was just incredibly like weirded out because I'm like, okay, I have this amount, this extra money that I don't know what to do with, and I don't want to spend it on stupid stuff. I would rather save it for my house, right? I would just rather save it. Okay, maybe I'll spoil myself for a steak dinner, or maybe I'll spoil myself for a night out around the couple of bars, right? But I never went too crazy. I always saved my money, and that's where the problem or the fear is. The fear of having more, because when you have more responsibility. Okay, when you have a new car, you can enjoy the car. Especially if it's a brand new car, you get to enjoy the car. People think you're doing good, right? When you have the more things you have, the more responsibility that you have, the more cost that you have to put, the more investment that you have to put out of yourself. Okay, people don't understand that. I unfortunately, and the majority of people don't understand. I didn't even understand that when I was younger. I didn't even understand. I just wanted everything. I just want it now, and I want it now, and I'll pay for it later. I'll figure it out. I'll pay as I go along. So that's the kind of mentality I had before, because it was just easier. It was just easier to take the hit, to being told what to do by the credit card companies, to being told what to do by the government. Oh, hey, you'll be making this much, but we're gonna have to take this much from you. And here in Texas, I realize there's nothing like that at all. And it's completely up to you. If you want to go into more debt, you go into more debt. I mean, there's more competitive loans out here than in New York. So there's just more things to do here. If you're coming here with a lot of money, but if you're coming here with a certain, like a fixed income, you got a budget, you still have a high chance. And you got a good credit, you have a high chance of a higher probability of living a much more peaceful and enjoyable lifestyle. But some people don't want that. Some people, if you've lived in New York City for a long time, like me, you're used to the torture. You're used to the urine smelling trains that you have to take, and buses that you have to take every day for your commute. By the way, it's like $3 now for a one way trip, and another $3 to come back. So you're used to employers treating you like crap, and they'll treat you like crap because they know you'll take it, because somewhere out there in New York City, in that tiny little concrete jungle, there's always another idiot that's just like you and who's probably in more debt than you, who's willing to pick up your job for $1 less or for $1.50 less. So that's why in New York City, it's you wake up to it every day. You wake up to, like, am I losing my job today? Shoot, am I gonna lose my job? My boss just CC'd me in this email. She emailed me, I didn't answer me. I don't want to know if I should answer it here from my phone, from my house, or am I supposed to answer it at my job? I don't know. Oh man, I hope nothing's wrong. So the torture, the pressure, it was every day. It was an everyday thing, And when I took myself out of that, right, and when I placed myself here, I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, everybody, employers are nice, very accepting. They're willing to give you a chance. They're willing to listen to you. Some of them are willing to accommodate you, which is, to me, I was like, oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Like, I don't know how to respond to that, because I'm not used to that type of life. I'm not used to being accommodated. I don't expect anyone to accommodate me. You know what I mean? So it was really something difficult for me to assimilate to a better lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to say. It was so hard for me. It was difficult for me to assimilate to a better lifestyle, because I never experienced a better lifestyle. All I experienced was, I wouldn't call them shitty jobs, but jobs that really made me appreciate my life and appreciate what I had. I experienced a lot of misfortunes, but they were all my fault. But there comes a point when, like, okay, you learn from your mistakes, and then, hey, you know what? Okay, I don't have to be here anymore. I already learned my lesson. I paid my dues. I apologized to everybody that I was supposed to apologize to. I'm already done here. I already did my job here. I don't know anything here, and I don't know anything to anyone here. I don't have to be here anymore and suffer with the rest of the people that are used to the suffering, used to being cudgeled every morning by that New York lifestyle, by the high taxes, by the homeless people that I feel sorry for, that you have to take the train with, and they'll try to, like, harass you or annoy you. The trains that sometimes they stall because somebody in the train, somebody will either commit suicide or by throwing themselves in front of the train, or someone passed out on the train. Now you're gonna get to work late. You know, it's just a whole lot of things that you have to like really accept, that you have to accept and live with in New York City. And now that when I came here, I was just like, wow, everything's just a hell of a lot different. People are a hell of a lot nicer. People are a hell of a lot more talkative. And okay, I I'm not in my comfortable space where I'm used to people totally ignoring me, totally being mean to me. High taxes, everything was pressure. I'm just not used to living a better lifestyle. And it's difficult for me still. I try to pinch myself every day that my life is not great, but it's just fine. And that's just the way I need it to be. Could it be a little bit better? Sure. And that's why I work hard. And that's why I wake up early in the morning to go run, to go to the gym. I eat healthy. I save my goddamn money. But anyways, so that's what I'm just the whole point of this video is that there are people out there that are just they're not willing to let go of that suffering, because it takes courage. It takes courage for people to do that. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of self-examination, which is, I think that a lot of people don't do that. I never used to do that. I just began, not this year, but like throughout like I would say like the last decade, I've been doing that a lot. And I would realize that all those times I woke up early in the morning to go jog, all those times that I woke up to the gym, all those times that I woke up to take care of my body physically, to physically shock my body so that I can be healthier, be stronger, right? And I didn't like those times, and I hated it. But all those times that I did those things. Now I think about those times and back in the past, I realize, wow, that's why I did that. That's why I did it. That's why I did it. So I can be here in Texas. So I can pay less in taxes. So I don't need my neighbors smelling my fucking socks or asking me questions about how much money I make or how much this or how much that. I don't need my landlord knocking on my door. All those times, all that accumulates in the end. And there's going to be a big payout, or there's going to be a big paying in. Like, you're going to get paid. So that's just my message. If you're not ready to, I'm not saying leave New York, or if you're not ready to leave your internal suffering and external suffering, don't even bother. Should you try at least? Sure, try. But it's really difficult for some people, because some people are not ready for that. Some people just live their whole life suffering, and it's really sad. But I don't encourage that. I would encourage for everybody, all of us, me included, to keep examining your person, your views, your opinions, and see where you're wrong at, so that you can fix it and make your life a little bit better. That way you can make the lives around you just a little bit better too. But hey, I don't know anything. I'm just a dummy. I'm dumb. Okay, you're smarter than me. You're amazing, and I'm totally inferior to you, intelligence, and I'm poor and stuff, and whatever you want to say. No worries.